The city of Los Angeles, home of the Los Angeles Lakers. The Great Western Forum, where the Lakers have won 14 of the last 15 regular season meetings with the Golden State Warriors. But tonight is Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Let's take a look and see how these two teams got here. The Lakers swept by Houston in 3. The Warriors took 4 to defeat the Spurs. And during the regular season, LA won the series between these two ball clubs, 3-2. Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Thulin. Glad you can be with us tonight. Now, the LA Lakers have had 4 days off. Golden State just won. But the big story for Golden State, Chris Mullin, a strained knee. He will not be playing in this first game. Joining me this evening, Hall of Famer Rick Barry. Rick, what does that do for Don Nelson of the Golden State Warriors?
Well, obviously, it's going to cause some major adjustments on their part. But first, let's take a look at the injury that Chris received and how it took place on Friday night. Watch as he goes into the basket. You're going to see when he makes his plant to go up, that right there, the right leg, is where the injury occurred. Just how difficult this is going to be for the Warriors? Well, I asked Don Nelson what it would mean.
Well, first of all, let me say how happy I was that he was able to finish our last game against San Antonio, won the ball game for us, a very gutsy performance. No way he could play tonight. I'm going to, in his place, I'm going to start Rod Higgins, and you'll probably see me fluctuate my lineup throughout the game quite a lot because of his absence.
Well, you also can be sure that Don Nelson will have some other tricks up his sleeve. We'll talk about them as the game progresses.
Of course, Golden State did present a lot of matchup problems against San Antonio. You're missing Chris Mullin, but that still has to concern Mike Dunleavy, the matchups.
Yeah, he's always, of course, concerned about Don Nelson. We asked him if he knew what Nelly was going to do. He says, hey, Nelly doesn't know what Nelly's going to do, having been an assistant coach for him one time at Milwaukee. But I did ask Mike what he thinks the biggest problem is the Warriors will present for him.
Well, the fact that they create some tough mismatches for you because of their size, being small and quick and all pretty good ball handlers. They can really get to the basket on you, and they have a draw and kick game, penetration and finding shooters on the perimeter. And the fact that they shot the ball so well in the last series against San Antonio.
Well, what all this amounts to is that it will be a battle this evening, but history is on the side of the LA Lakers. The Golden State Warriors have not won a playoff game here in the Forum since 1969. Coming up next on TNT, it's the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Crowd at the Great Western Forum for Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Now let's take a look at tonight's Jeep Eagles starting lineups. First of all, for the Golden State Warriors, Mario Elie will be at 1 forward with Rod Higgins starting in place of Mullins, Peterson, Hardaway, and Richmond, and of course the coach of the Warriors, Don Nelson. That's a pretty impressive record. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, the same starting 5, Perkins, Worthy, Devos, Johnson, and Byron Scott. And they're coached by first-year head coach Mike Dunleavy.
Ron, I'll tell you, one of the things here is you see the referees, Mike Mathis, Lee Jones, and Steve Jaffe for tonight's ball game. Mike is going to try to force Nelly to have to play to him. He feels that there are mismatches there created on both sides and that he has the advantage with his people, and Nelly's going to have to try and contend with that. I would look for the Lakers to try and get the ball down inside, take advantage of Magic down inside, Worthy posting up, Perkins posting up, and just see what happens. And obviously, they're not going to leave the shooters. They realize that was a big mistake San Antonio made. On penetration moves, they will not be leaving the shooters. Or if they do, they'll be rotating for somebody to pick them up and not give them those easy opportunities.
Well, we saw a couple of great professionals already this afternoon. Larry Bird leading Boston to the victory. Isaiah Thomas leading Detroit. Now it's Magic Johnson's turn if you're a Laker fan. Peterson and Devos tip it up. Peterson just scoots it along, and Tim Hardaway, the University of Texas El Paso, will run the show. On top to Higgins. The matchup right now, Richmond being guarded by Perkins. Hardaway will be guarded by Byron Scott. You would think that Hardaway could take him. Hardaway's jumping a little short.
No Warriors under the basket.
Now they're going to put Mario Elie on Magic Johnson. Does that surprise you?
No, it really doesn't. Mario's a pretty strong guy. Got good mobility. He'll battle him. They'll be switching different people out for him. Rest assured of that.
With the trim beard and all, Lonnie Devos can't get the left-handed hook to go down. He told me after the Houston series, if they win the championship, he'll shave the beard and shave his head. That remains to be seen. Lakers on the run.
Well, Higgins used his quickness to get by. Devos that time wasn't able to complete the play.
Worthy on Richmond. Worthy has really been struggling in the playoffs. Only shooting 40% from the floor as opposed to 49 during the regular season. Another turnover Still looking for our first point of the ball game. We've played about 1 minute and 15 seconds.
They probably will not go to double Magic. Now he made the move. They got to pick him up there.
That's exactly what we saw in the Houston series of Vernon Maxwell playing behind Magic. And Magic just waits for that double team, and if the double team doesn't come, they'll shoot it. Hardaway inside, almost uncontested. The foul won't go down, still being kicked around. Sam Perkins comes down with it with 10:20 showing on the clock in the first quarter. At the Great Western Forum with the Lakers and Golden State opening up their best-of-7 series. Magic forces up the shot, won't go down. Peterson with the rebound. Richmond. Golden State still cold from the floor. Finally, they get their first basket of the ball game.
Well, they're going to try and get those quick transition opportunities, just like you saw there.
Perkins forces inside. Peterson is fouled, or is whistled for the foul.
And even with Chris Mullin out of the ballgame, they're not going to change their basic game plan. Nelly, even if Chris were healthy, was going to still go with the small lineup. You get a chance to see Chris there in his street clothes. And he just decided that, hey, we're playing really well doing this. It'd be silly for us to go ahead and change. However, if it doesn't work, I would imagine you'll see Alton Lister come into the ball game or get some other people with some size. But first of all, he's going to try the smaller lineup, see how it works.
We look at Don Nelson. You speak of Alton Lister. He's only played in one playoff game, which shows exactly what Don Nelson did against San Antonio. He didn't play his big 7-footer. Instead, sat him down, despite the fact Lister did play most of the season at the top spot.
Yeah, well, Nelly's one of those coaches who's not afraid to go ahead and make a major change if he feels it's going to have an opportunity to benefit his team.
James Worthy says Golden State is a team to fear since they swept Utah in the first round back in 1989. He says, hey, we're concerned about these guys. On paper, it looks like we should beat them, but we've got to take them seriously. You never know what's going to happen.
The Warriors got to be more careful with the ball. They've got too many turnovers early in the ball game. Plus, they're not shooting it well, and they have to be proficient in both areas to win.
Vlade Divac, the quick turnaround with his first 2 points in the ball game. Divac's averaging 16 a contest during the playoffs, 11 for the season. Lakers up by 4. Coming close to the 9-minute mark of the first quarter. Perkins cuts it off. Divac's almost coming up with a double team. Hardaway's shot goes down in the foul.
But I tell you, what a tough matchup for Sam Perkins. I mean, he's fairly mobile, got long arms to bother the shot of Hardaway, but Hardaway did what he should do wisely. He got him moving around, and he penetrated, and he drove. That's where he's got the quickness. Back up, boom, real quick. He got Perkins coming out a little bit. His quickness was able to get him by, and that's just a smart play on the part of Tim Hardaway, who's becoming one of the premier point guards in the NBA.
He's looking at the top 3 right now as far as point guards. I mean, you look at Magic Johnson, John Stockton, of course, KJ, but right now Tim Hardaway's not too far behind from that elite group.
Well, I mean, based on the playoff performance, he's playing better than KJ.
Exactly that.
Because KJ, had the hamstring problem.
Inside of 9 minutes, Lakers lead it by 1. Scott to Divac. What a pass inside. It goes.
I like to see that because that's a player who's aware of the situation that's developing around them. He doesn't have tunnel vision looking at the basket only. You can see people cutting. Divac's heads-up play was able to go ahead and make a good back cut. Here comes out. He's out. He's open. He had the shot, but Divac's back cut. He saw that Peterson was out of the way. Divac was open. Great play on the part of Byron Scott.
Vlade Divac now with 5, and the Lakers lead is 4 with 8:50 remaining in the first. Mario Elie, who has a passport that's full, oversees the CBA. He takes the shot and it goes down, and that's a lesson in perseverance for that 28-year-old.
Can you imagine being in the semifinals, Western Conference of the playoffs, and goes one-on-one against Magic Johnson?
Perkins with the left-handed hook goes down. But right now, L.A. not afraid to attack underneath. Higgins for 3. Count it.
Higgins not afraid to shoot the 3-pointer, but you see the Warriors are not coming down and doubling now.
Inside, Magic Johnson.
Nelly didn't like that call.
That foul was on Elie. That is his first.
Here we'll see the play again. Magic coming down. Elie moving. Peterson, I thought Peterson was moving there, and they called that foul on... Was it on Elie or Peterson? Elie, yeah. Well, I think the foul was really on Peterson as he moved underneath Magic. Elie didn't look like he even touched him.
Magic has 5. The Lakers have 14. They lead it by 4. Higgins looked at the 3. Richmond from just inside, nothing but net. The former Kansas State Wildcat, Tracy.
Yeah, he's a fine player. He was really a great post-up player also in college, but he had the ability to shoot outside, and he's just a fine talent. One of the great two guards in the league.
His nickname is Rock because he is rock solid, worthy from the baseline.
That's the difference between he and Jeff Greer, who also was a fine player in college. Greer didn't have the outside game.
Played at Iowa State, played against each other, as a matter of fact. So Lister, who checked him in the lineup during the timeout, gets his first points of the game. And his first points of the playoff. We have a foul.
Interesting to see how long Nelly decides to allow the Lakers to post up and not send people and just let them go on their one-on-one escapades to the basket there. See, nobody's coming. Just going to let Magic go.
Magic with the right-handed hook, and he has worked on that baby hook the last couple of weeks. He says it wasn't going down near the end of the regular season. He worked at it in Houston, and right now, Magic Johnson with 7. Inside, and Richmond tries to battle his way in. Magic with the rebound, outlet to Scott. 3-on-2 for the Lakers. Scott's pull-up. Don Nelson is up, and rightly so. 18-14 is our score. The Lakers on top. We have 7:02 left in the first.
Well, the Lakers leading by 4. You saw Don Nelson upset talking to the officials at the timeout. This is the play that caused him to be upset. The drive in by Richmond. He felt he got bumped and hit right there by Vlade Divac. No foul was called. Here's another angle on it. Let's see indeed if there is the contact. He's moving in. Divac's moving. His body contact, yes, indeed, that was a foul. He also hit him with the forearm. He's saying, hey, you call the one down here for Magic Johnson. How come you won't call the one down there for our guy? Pretty good reason to be complaining.
Well, Don Nelson continues to go to his bench as he sends in number 4, Vincent Askew, the second-year pro out of Memphis State, stands 6'6", 226.
Yeah, we didn't even see Askew.
And Marion report. No. Played in 3 of the 4 playoff games this year. Only has played 7 regular season games as we've got a foul. That's not a makeup call, is it?
No, with all the contact that was on during playoff time, Mike Dunleavy saying he can't believe that one.
Well, Golden State has hit 6 of their last 7 shots, but they still trail in the ball game by 4, and another turnover by Golden State. That is 3 for them.
Nobody doubling.
Worthy usually catches on fire in the playoffs, still trying to find his range. Hardaway has Richmond on the right. He'll pull up for the 3, and he drains it. That is confidence.
It's just hard to play defense against that. I mean, what do you do? I mean, he's pretty close to the guy. Just shoots it right in your face.
Now it is Askew on Magic Johnson.
Illegal defense going to be called now.
That's the first of the ball game. 6:17 on the clock. Lakers by 1. Considering you have Ellie, Askew, who only played 7 regular season games. You have a couple of guys that don't have the big NBA playoff experience, and you're going up against the Lakers. Difficult challenge. And that foul will be on Askew. That'll be his first.
You can again see Nelly's strategy here, obviously, is to go ahead and just let the guys go one-on-one, see if they can do a good job defensively against him, and not allow some of the other people to get open and have those easy opportunity jumpers. It's interesting, Nelly before the ball game said, well, the Lakers now play boring basketball. but the thing is, they win.
I was going to say, I'll take boring and winning any day of the week. Magic now with 9. Lakers lead back up by 3. Nearing the 6-minute mark in the first quarter. Mike Dunleavy says he hopes his players continue to play this un-Laker-like playoff basketball. They want to dive for every ball they can possibly get. Lister trying to find the handle underneath, and he'll be tied up by Magic Johnson. Excellent play by Magic. What a night against Houston the other night.
The thing about it is, Mullins not playing. Warriors have turned it over a number of times. Yeah, they're only 3 points behind.
That's right. Tip. Perkins will get it for the Lakers, and here comes Magic. Leading by 3 inside of 5:45. Perkins spots up. The left-handed shot short.
Push-off. Worthy got away with big-time push-off there.
I don't think Askew ever saw him behind him.
He felt them.
He did. He got whiplash. Swatted out of the way by Lister. Magic for three, doesn't get it. Worthy with the rebound. Fourth time it may be a charm. Let's see.
This is where the size difference is paying off for the Lakers.
Byron Scott doesn't get it. Perkins tries to tip it, but that will be a loose ball foul on Sam Perkins.
Can't give them that many opportunities and expect them not to make a basket. They really dodged the bullet on that one. Of course, when after a couple of years ago, after Golden State had beaten Utah and surprised them in 3-zip, they went down in Phoenix with their size advantage, took advantage of them on the offensive board. So right now, Warriors looking at the same type of situation.
Well, one of the Achilles heel for Golden State is that they don't rebound or defend close to the basket very well. Have to kick it back out. Shot on the way.
That's
nothing but net.
That's Warrior ball, though, Ron. You know, you go ahead and you penetrate. If you don't have the shot, you kick it out. That's like Europeans play.
Inside of Vlade. He gets the roll. Vlade Divac. Now with 7. Lakers by 3. Hardaway penetrates. Askew has to kick it back out. Richmond with the jumper.
Good ball movement. That's Warrior basketball. That's the way they've been successful in the playoffs. Moving the ball, finding the open men. They get the ball to the good shooters.
Worthy is 0 for 5, making 0 for 6. Rebound control by Lister. Outlet to Richmond, and Hardaway will run it from the point. Boy, he's got that crossover dribble. Pulls it up, doesn't get it. Magic Johnson says that's the quickest crossover dribble he has ever seen. Worthy almost tipped it. 1 point Laker lead.
Had Richmond on the right wing. Smart play. Just couldn't get it to drop.
Over the top of the basket. And we have a couple of more substitutions. AC Green will come in for the Lakers, and Sharunas Marciulionis from Lithuania, wearing number 13, checks in for Golden State. But first we have a timeout on the court. 4:02 remaining in the first quarter. The Lakers on top of the Warriors by 1.
Other Lakers. Then it goes to Askew. He penetrates. Richmond roams right down to the middle at the free throw line. He gets the ball and makes the shot.
Golden State huddle. Both teams still in their huddle with 4:02 remaining in the first. 22-21 is our score. We mentioned the last time that Golden State was able to win a playoff game here was back in March of '69. They are 0-11 during the playoffs. How about a successful second season? This is Golden State during the playoffs.
Yeah, they've really come alive, and it's been the bench that has done that for them. The other three guys run TMC. Mullen, Richmond, and Hardaway are actually scoring a few points less per game as you get a look at the injured Chris Mullen. Pinch and strain, they call a strain of the right knee.
Interesting about the bench, we see the bench production during the playoffs. During the regular season, they outscored their opponent's bench only once during the regular season, and now during the playoffs they're getting that production. Inside of 4 minutes, Lakers still lead by 1 despite the fact they've missed their last 8 field goal attempts. Rather quiet crowd, a late arriving crowd here in the Forum. Beautiful day in Los Angeles today. Magic backing in again as he did in Houston over Askew. This time he doesn't get it. Rebound Mitch Richmond.
Pretty good strategy on Don Nelson's part here. I mean, the Lakers aren't exactly blowing him away with this going one-on-one stuff.
Marciulionis, who thinks pass first, shoots second, out to Higgins for 3, doesn't get it.
But again, the penetration and the kick out. The Lakers have to be careful of leaving some of the shooters open. That's not Mike's game plan. They don't want to leave the shooters open.
One thing we saw in Houston with the Lakers, intensity, and right now that intensity really isn't where it was in Game 3 against the Rockets.
Same thing. See, Richmond playing D-bots. He's done that during the regular season, but they didn't double. He just kept position. And so it's working well for the Warriors.
You're talking 6-5 against 7-1. Shot on the way, won't go. Magic with the rebound. 6 rebounds for Magic Johnson. So once again, Magic is taking over the show. He says the first couple of playoff games he was setting the table for everyone as he fakes left, goes right. Vlade with the return, and he's got it.
But again, they got them to miss the initial shot. The defensive strategy by Nelly's working pretty well right now. They just have to do a little better job controlling the defensive boards, and it's very interesting way to approach this.
Well, when they take out Alton Lister, which they did, now they've got that small lineup in, but Mike Dunleavy refuses to go with a small lineup. He said the only way he's going to beat Don Nelson is let Don counter his moves, not for the Lakers to counter Golden State's moves. Lakers lead it by 3, nearing the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Ron Thulin and Rick Barry, Ernie Johnson in our studios in Atlanta. Worthy inside, and he finally gets on the board. James Worthy, his first 2 of the ball game, averaging 29 a contest during the playoffs.
Oh, good move. Oh, and he missed the
easy shot, asking the follow, but he does draw the foul.
That's tough. You get that defender coming out at your eye. I mean, he's really dead meat because you can't stop your forward momentum in time to prevent the guy from being able to get at least a half a step on you. And that time, Askew took advantage of the big man to get to the basket.
Golden State has missed 6 in a row. The Lakers, of course, had that streak. Now it's Golden State's turn to turn cold, but now Vince Askew tries to break the slump.
Get our first look at Tyrone Hill, who did a nice job coming in to play against David Robinson in the playoff series against the Spurs.
Well, we talked about how Mike Dunleavy wasn't going to counter the moves, and he may be doing it right now because coming in the next break in the action for the lineup will be Eldon Campbell, who is yet to play or has only played in 1 playoff game so far. Worthy's turnaround, and now Worthy going down low, Rick, the easy turnaround.
Well, they're going to continue to try to take advantage of the size differential that they have. And obviously, you can't expect James Worthy to play as poorly as he's played thus far in the playoffs.
They sweep Houston 3-0, and quite frankly, Magic didn't play the first 2 games all that well, and Worthy didn't play all 3 of them.
Yeah, that's because the Lakers play some real good defense.
That is what has held them so far this year and got them to their record of 58-24. Magic's going to lead the break. It is a 4-on-3 to Green to the hole. Count it.
Those are the kind of baskets the Warriors can't be giving up.
Hardaway, top of the key, and returns the favor.
And conversely, the Lakers can't give up those kind of easy shots.
And Byron Scott for 3. Biggest Laker lead, it is 10 inside of 45 seconds at the Forum. First game of the Western Conference semifinals. Hardaway shot is goaltended by Vlade Divac. 10 now for Hardaway.
There's the crossover, hesitation, and then the quick move as soon as he got the guy's body weight leaning forward, and there's the goaltending by Vlade.
Scott to Divac. 15-second difference in the shot and the game clock. Lakers had a chance for a 2-for-1, Rick. Now they won't. Worthy backing in again. Takes it strong to the hole with the right hand. And Tyrone Hill, the rookie, had no chance on that one. 6 for Worthy, a 10-point Laker advantage.
Nelly's still sticking with the non-double teaming strategy here.
Who's going to blink first? Closing seconds in the first. Hardaway for 3, doesn't get it. Rebound, Vlade Divac, and that'll end the first quarter of play from the Forum in Los Angeles. The Lakers open up a 10-point advantage. 35-25 is our score. Stay with us. We'll be back with quarter number 2. Lakers go through the quarter without a turnover, and they've opened up that 10-point advantage, Rick.
Yeah, and they've been able to go inside. Of course, the strategy we talked about, just 1 against 1. Here, time Hill against Worthy. Worthy's starting to get the hot hand. He makes a little turnaround fadeaway. Now, on this move, watch the right arm of Worthy after he makes this move to go in for the score against Hill. Don Nelson complaining that it should have been an offensive foul that he was hooking there. It really didn't seem like much contact. But, again, the Lakers are trying to take advantage of the size differential inside, and they're also fortunate that the Warriors have not shot well. They've made, I think, 1 of their last 9 shots, and we talked at the start of the telecast that they have to shoot the ball well to have a chance to be in this ballgame. Let's figure if they had gone just, 4 for 9, which is not great shooting, that's 6 more points. That gives them a chance to be trailing this game only by 4 points. So their shooting has really let them down the last part of this quarter, first quarter.
Well, we saw the stat of the Warriors missing on some of their field goal attempts. The Lakers have hit the last 6 after missing 11 in a row. What a first quarter for Magic Johnson. 9.7 rebounds and 5 assists. So he'll begin the second quarter sitting on the bench. Little alley-oop to Eldon Campbell, the rookie. And he can't hold on to it. 6'11", 215 pounds. Campbell, a first-round pick in 90, the 27th pick overall. And Mike Dunleavy likes this young man, especially Jerry West. Jerry West very high on Campbell. Tolbert is checked into the lineup. Tom Tolbert, number 34 for Golden State. Another turnover? No, Hardaway gets it back. Tolbert's pull-up, double pumps, and he'll be fouled on the play.
That's a bailout, boy, and I know that they're upset, the Laker players, for fouling him on that shot, because you want Tom Tolbert shooting those kind of shots.
And Tolbert will go to the line. Tolbert, a second-round pick back in '88 for Charlotte. Terry Teagle will come into the Laker lineup as Tolbert can't get the first to go down. He's 0 for 4 from the charity stripe. And boy, that's a pet peeve of yours, I know, Rick. As Scott goes out, Teagle comes in during the playoffs. Now he is 0 for 5.
Of course, you remember he was the one that lost his composure there and got that one-game suspension for throwing some punches.
Well, he's got an 0 for going in the playoffs as far as the charity stripe goes. 0 for 6. The Laker lead is still 10. Drew into the lineup for the Lakers. He'll be running the point, so this is sort of a luxury almost for Mike Dunleavy, getting a lot of extra playing time, especially when Worthy is hot. 8 points for James Worthy. Ellie, the running right-handed jumper, a little CBA shot.
That's a tough shot, I guarantee you.
Man.
He's going to his left, drifting, shooting with his right hand right in the defender's face.
Playground shot. Lakers by 10. Teagle trying to slip underneath, and he does. Richmond, however, picks him up.
One advantage of this small lineup is you can just switch every time.
Oh, yeah. Exactly right. Hardaway brings it down for Golden State. Finds an opening. Oh, he just left Larry Drew in his socks.
Well, socks and something else.
Yeah, right. Well, I tried to clean it up. All the athletes know what that meant. The Lakers, 37-29 lead. Worthy, that little spin move again, tries to get his own rebound. And the ball belongs, I think, back to Golden State.
Yeah, Hardaway just a little hesitation. Didn't go through the legs with that famous move. He just gave a little body move, hesitation move, and went to the left. Got his man leading. He's a smart player.
Inside, Ellie's shot counted, says Mike Mathis. So Ellie now with 6. His playoff average is 8, and he'll go to the line. Teagle was for the foul. That's his first. We saw Ellie was kept by the Lakers at training camp. He has 7. The lead is down to 5, and we are at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. Ron Thulin and Rick Barry glad to be with us tonight. More playoff action here on TNT.
Look at I'll tell you, that was this time it was Drew doing a little move that looked like Hardaway on that play.
Drew tries to come up with a steal, but he knocks it into Golden State's bench, and the Warriors will have it with 21 on the shot clock. Good hustle as Sam Perkins will try to get in the lineup before they resume action, and he does. Nope, they're going to make him sit.
Very subdued crowd.
Oh, yes.
They really are.
Too much sun today. Tolbert on top to Richmond. Shaking around out front. Marciulionis left open. He blows by James Worthy, but then his shot is blocked by Campbell and by Teagle. Good defense by the Lakers, closing the gap as Marciulionis looked like he had a clear path to the hole.
Didn't take it strong enough to the basket. A little too relaxed.
Worthy now on Tolbert. Hardaway looking for the double team. Worthy instead inside the green, and we've got a foul. And here comes Sam Perkins into the lineup. And Eldon Campbell will take a break.
No way Tolbert can stay with Worthy. Worthy just much too quick. Beats him on that quick spin move of his.
Tolbert whistle for the foul. Lakers have it fresh 24. They lead it by 5. But important for the Lakers, Magic Johnson getting some rest. Perkins, we've got another foul.
Hardaway reached in to try and help that time as Perkins made the move across the middle. Didn't really make an all-out, go down and double and attack. He just kind of tentatively reached in and picked up a silly foul.
Well, that's team foul number 2. First on Hardaway. 9 minutes left in the second. Green looking for Worthy.
Offense.
Marciulionis down, and that will be an offensive foul on AC Green, and that will be his second personal foul.
Outstanding job by Marciulionis as he moves his feet quickly to get good position. Push off, very obvious.
Golden State just does not want to go away. Lakers go up by 10. You think they're on the roll?
Again, they're getting the shots. They didn't hit him at the end of the first quarter. That's the difference in the ball game, really.
They They're shooting 50% during the playoffs. That shot won't go down. Perkins with the rebound. AC Green has to jump over Richmond. Drew got up in the air almost in no man's land. Teagle posting up for the three. But Worthy's going to wait for the double team. Teagle's fall away.
Well, it's the first time we've seen him actually go out and double.
Ellie now with 9 points. His season and playoff high is 15. As we mentioned, he's only averaging 8 a contest during the playoffs. 7 during the regular season. Shot will go down. Green tries to follow, and Marshallonis will lead the break for Golden State. To Hardaway.
Magic's going to have to get back in this game. Mike Spitely calling the timeout. The Warriors just hanging right in there.
14 points for Tim Hardaway, and the Warriors once down by 10, now trail by just 3. 7:48 left to be played in the second. Lakers by 3. Back just a few years. 1969, Game 7 of the World Championship. And it was Don Nelson who hit the game winner. He describes it.
This is the biggest shot I've ever made in my career, and it was the luckiest shot I think anybody's ever made. Havlicek gets the ball deflected right there. I happened to be coming across the key, shot it so bad it went in. 7th game of the World Championship, biggest shot of my career, won the game for us.
And Ron, I'll tell you one thing. Having had the opportunity to be in that situation, a 7th game of an NBA championship, I guarantee you has served Don Nelson very well as a coach. It's one thing to be a coach and be there. It's another thing to be a player. You get a whole different perspective.
Excellent point. We'd like to also say it was 4 years ago today that you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Second leading all-time scorer in Golden State history, trailing some guy named Chamberlain.
Yeah, well, I tell you, well, some of the things that he did, the records that he had, never will be broken.
No question about that. Golden State and Don Nelson on an 11-2 run, and that is what has cut that lead down to just 3 with 7:48 remaining in the second. It was a 10-point advantage after 12 minutes of play. Magic Johnson has, as you said, Rick, needed to check back in the lineup, and that is exactly what Mike Dunleavy has done.
Now, very interesting, though. Mike Dunleavy has made a change here. Drew is still in the game, and Magic is in. He's got Teagle. He has a small lineup, basically. He has no center in the ball game right now. So an adjustment has been made by Mike Dunleavy right early in this playoff series.
And that's surprising. We thought he would stick with the big lineup no matter what. Perkins on Tolbert. Tolbert using that body to keep Perkins out, and that's going to have to be a foul. No basket. And that'll be on Tolbert. That'll be his second personal foul.
Now, you see, I can see, in Nelly's strategy, why he wants to not go and double. Figuring that everybody else is getting a stand around here. The team doesn't have a whole lot of motion going on. And if those guys aren't hot shooting the basketball, they've got a shot, perhaps, by getting better position defensively on the boards.
Perkins, the southpaw with the left-handed banker. Perkins now with 6. The Laker lead at 5.
Nelly can live with that shot. If Perkins can make those kind of shots to beat him, you just have to live with that.
Marshallonis takes Teagle inside, and that'll be an offensive foul on Sharunas Marshallonis.
Now he had him on his hip, had him beaten, but he threw the left shoulder into him. Didn't need to do that. He could have used his strength as he jumped to go to the basket to muscle the guy out of the way, except he did it down on the floor, and that was an obvious play.
Magic Johnson, who had a good first quarter, 9.7 rebounds, 5 assists, running the show once again. Boy, Perkins and Tolbert not afraid to bump bellies down low. There's Perkins again. Fakes to his left, goes to his right, and he hits the left-handed shot again.
You see, Perkins has killed the Warriors before. Even when he was with Dallas, he's had some of his biggest games as a pro against the Warrior teams.
His career high was against playing with the Dallas Mavericks against Golden State. The post-up game is death for Golden State, no question about it. Another turnover for the Warriors, turnover number 6. The Magic wants to push it up the court. Lakers lead it by 7. Spin move by Magic off the glass
with the left.
You see Larry Bird today do what he did, which was just short of miraculous. Isaiah with the wrist, and now Magic. Richmond has his shot blocked by AC Green, stolen by Hardaway. And another turnover by Golden State. The Lakers have a 3-on-2 to Magic. To Drew. Don Don Nelson needs to talk about it. 5:54 left in the half. The Lakers have opened up another big lead.
Now with a 9-point lead, 5:54 to go in the second quarter. They're doing it with some defense. Here you see Hardaway after he made his steals. The long arms of Sam Perkins knock it away, and then back down the other end. We'll get to see the finish of the play. Teagle with the good quick outlet pass. Gets it over to Drew. Drew with the nice bounce pass to Magic. Magic right back to Drew, and the easy 2 for the Lakers. And during that time, Magic, I think he tightened up. Might have got no cramp in that right hamstring. Gary Vitti, the trainer, working on him.
Gary Vitti and the rest of the National Basketball Association trainers, the NBA Trainers Association, putting on quite a benefit here June 2nd at Hollywood Park Racetrack in Inglewood for the Miami Project Pure Paralysis. And they're going to have quite an auction. I'll tell you, if people want to help that project, Nick Bonacani, one of the great NFL players, and his son involved in it. Not only a great trainer, but an excellent person as he works on Magic Johnson. He worked on him so well that he'll come back into the lineup. In fact, during the timeout, Gary Vitti ran over and talked to the team trainer, or the team doctor, who is keeping his eye on Magic.
Yeah, you hope that maybe it was just something tightening up as opposed to him feeling that he pulled something. It's obvious what, if you hurt a hamstring, what can happen to you. As an example by Kevin Johnson with his son, he was nowhere near his peak performance level.
Lakers lead it by 11.
Great save by Hardaway.
Hardaway for 3, doesn't get it. Rebound, Terry Teagle. The Lakers have a chance to go up by 13, and that results in Lister off the Warrior bench. So now the chess moves continue for both teams. We'll see if Vlade Divac comes in for the Lakers. Teagle over Higgins. The right-handed hook goes down. Terry Teagle loves that baseline.
When I said 47-36, I said a 9-point lead, didn't I? I've been hanging around Bob Neal too long.
I'm not touching that. We'll blame it on the playoffs. 18 games in, 3 days?
Now that's Bob Neal rubbing off on me.
Ernie Johnson's getting gray here. Starting to get that Pat Riley from Richmond. Byron Scott up off the Lakers bench. Inside, doesn't get it. Mitch Richmond not having one of his better nights. Good hustle, AC Green. That's what Mike Dunleavy wants. Little bruised knees. Inside, Higgins trips over Magic Johnson. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Rick Barry and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. That'll be following tonight's telecast. That foul was on Magic.
And Warriors are having a bit of a roller coaster ride with their shooting. I mean, they start out shooting the ball well, and then they have a cold spell at the end of the first quarter to fall behind, and then they fight back again, and then they start going cold again. And they need to be much more consistent if they're going to have a chance against this Laker team, especially with Chris Mullin out.
In case you just joined us, Chris Mullin out with a strained knee. He got in the 4th game against the San Antonio Spurs. They say he will play game 2 here in Los Angeles, however. It's one of those things I think they'd want to have him 100% instead of 80% tonight with a chance of getting hurt.
Yeah, well, they're lucky that they're going to get a few days to give him some extra rest.
Perkins looks at the 3. Lister comes out to meet him, and they go back down to Magic. Vincent Askew on him. As it slapped away, Askew thought he had all ball, but he's whistled for the foul. That is his second. Magic Johnson goes to the line. So far tonight, Johnson with 9, with 11, and now he has 12. And here's tonight's Chevrolet scoreboard. Games from this afternoon. Boston wrapping up that series with Indiana. Hats off, though, to Bob Hill and company. Did an excellent job. Had a chance to win it, in fact. And Atlanta crushed by Detroit. The wrong Atlanta team showed up. Bet you'll be wholesale changes in that club before that.
Yeah, and actually the way maybe the best thing that could have happened that they lost the game big like that, because had they beaten Detroit, people would have thought maybe they didn't have to make so many changes.
4 on the shot clock. Higgins hits the 3. That is his second of the ball game. And he has 10 already in double figures, just 4 away from his playoff high of 14. 4 minutes remaining to be played in the half. Lakers by 10. Lakers averaging 99 points during the playoffs. Their opponents just 93. Conversely, Golden State averaging 112. Their opponents 107. So a high-scoring game you would think would favor Golden State. Inside, Askew uses the left hand effectively.
The Warriors executing a lot better right now. They again had a little down period, and they're chipping away at it. But the old deep hole syndrome that I talk about so often is starting to happen to the Warriors. Fall behind, fight back, fall behind. You can't do that very often on the road and win.
Especially in the playoffs, as Magic Johnson goes down with the left hand. Johnson now with 15. Golden State is not a good road ball club. Well under 500. Shot won't go. Everybody fighting for the rebound. AC Green has it. He has Scott on the right, Teagle on the left. Scott pulls up.
20-second timeout. Nelly's going to call right now. Well, I tell you, Mitch Richmond has gotten to the basket on numerous occasions. He's not getting to the free throw line, and he's not able to drop the shots, and it really has hurt the Warriors. And Don Nelson is still very upset about it because he keeps talking about how Magic gets to the line all the time, and they're not putting any of the Warriors on the line down the other side. There is Richmond trying to get the rebound after the miss. He got banged around. Perkins hustled after it, kept it alive, and here comes AC Green. He'll kick it out to the wing to Byron Scott, and Byron does what he does so well, hit the jumper. He saw the big guy Lister underneath. You don't want to challenge him when you get a chance for an open jumper from that distance.
Well, the Lakers have made 8 of the last 9 field goals. Mitch Richmond, 3 of 10. He's missed his last 5. And we'd like to remind you, coming up at halftime, the Prudential Halftime Report with the hardest working man in television, Ernie Johnson, in our studios in Atlanta. He'll have scores and highlights from today's Pacers, Celtics, and Hawks Pistons game, plus a live interview with Philadelphia head coach Jim Lynam. That'll be on the Prudential Halftime Report coming up following a commercial, plus 3 minutes of this ball game.
Does Ernie have a bedroom there? He should.
I think his wife Cheryl thinks so. I think it's definitely. Ernie lives there. Of course, next week he'll be joined by Cotton Fitzsimmons in our studio, the Phoenix Suns head coach. That'll be interesting. Lakers by 12. James Worthy checks into the lineup. Lakers still in their huddle, and Lee Jones has to whistle them back out.
Well, a little change from Mike Dunleavy worked. The Warriors down by 10 or so, cut that lead back down to 3. He came back with a smaller lineup. He even had Drew in the game with Magic Johnson, and it's worked very well for him.
Still not a center really in the lineup unless you call Sam Perkins a center for Los Angeles, because Teagle stays in the lineup. Fall away by Richmond. Tip won't go down. Lister will be fouled on the play. Oh, Mitch Richmond scored 6 in the first quarter. Hasn't hit the net since then.
Yeah, I think they'll afford to have Mitch Richmond. He's limping going back to the bench a little bit. I don't know what happened to him, but
Tom Abdenauer, the trainer for Golden State, will look at him. Tom's brother Mike, trainer at Detroit.
Dr. Bob Alpo right behind, looking over the team position. Bob has been there for many years. He was there back in the days even when I was there, and that's a long time ago.
Now Don Nelson says, wait a minute, wasn't he shooting? And he can't buy a call down the other end of the floor. That foul was on Johnson, and Magic is going to have to take a seat with 2 personal fouls. Don't want to get him 3 before they go into the half. And Drew checks back in for Los Angeles.
They're taking Richmond along with the doctor back to the locker room and checking out.
Lister gets 2, and we'll try to get an update.
Perkins looked like he may have hurt his right ankle on that play. He's coming up limping a bit.
He sprained an ankle earlier this year. Lakers by 10. 2:22 left in the half. Teagle with Askew on him. Cuts off the baseline. 4 on the shot clock. Terry has to turn, and the former Baylor Bear can't get it to go. Rebound by Lister. Hardaway's pull up. Got it. 16 first half points for Tim Hardaway. 32 is his playoff high. In the regular season, able to connect for 40. Shot swatted away.
Higgins with a good help defense move.
Hardaway blows by Byron Scott, who gets a little piece of it, but it still goes in.
He shot that with the right hand, and he had to put the reverse spin on it and get it up on the glass. That's a great move by Hardaway. And right now, the Warriors in good shape heading towards halftime. They can stop the Warriors, score another basket. They're only down by 6, despite the fact that they've shot poorly.
Hardaway has a lot of Chicago streets in him, as does Isaiah Thomas. Never backs down. Worthy with 2 on the shot clock. Perkins will give the Lakers a second chance. Scott for 3.
Well, that's a killer. Had they screened Perkins off and been aware of where he was and gotten that rebound, that could have been a major, major play for the Warriors at this juncture.
Coming into the game, Byron Scott was 3 of 8 from three-point land. He's 2 of 2 tonight. And Lister retaliates with a 2. The lead is 7 inside of 1 minute. Looking inside to Perkins. Lister on his right hip, and they're going to call traveling on Sam Perkins.
Well, Sam decided to move Lister out of the way using his body and legs, and he moved both of his feet before he dribbled the ball.
Well, the Golden State Warriors, who continually beat the San Antonio Spurs up and down the court, are just doing it in spurts this evening. Really not running the ball, but they are getting their half-court offense. Higgins forces the three, doesn't get it.
Well, that was smart because that was a good 2 shots to 1. They wanted to get one in there, have that drop so they stop them, they could have picked up 5 points. But the reason the Lakers are putting the ball in the basket, when you make 8 out of 9 shots, it's hard to get breaks.
Worthy, that spin move he has done so many times, and Don Nelson saying, hey, he's hooking our guy.
Well, if nothing else, the Warriors are going to be able to keep this under a 10-point deficit, and so you have to feel halfway decent about that going into halftime.
That is the time remaining in the first half. Drew comes up on Hardaway. May not be the best thing to do. He'll spin right by you. Hardaway shaking and baking. A little street move. Dishes off as the buzzer goes. Lister can't get it to drop. 24 minutes have been played in Los Angeles. And the Lakers go to the locker room leading by 9. Stay with us. Ernie Johnson in our studios in Atlanta with the Prudential halftime report after these messages.
4.
Yeah, it is a little special because I've known Chuck for a while, and we've always had run-ins, but it always seems like I get the last word.
And with those 32 points, Larry Bird passes John Havlicek for the all-time playoff scoring lead for the Boston Celtics. He is 3rd now on the all-time list. And so Larry Bird and the Celtics move on to the Eastern semis, where they will meet the Detroit Pistons. They, too, were taken to the limit by the Hawks, but they showed their championship colors this afternoon at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Doc Rivers had 34 in Game 4, only 12 today. Dominique, 4 out of 18 from the field. Dennis Rodman, 20 rebounds, feeds it ahead to John Sally, 22-13 Detroit. And Dominique Wilkins answers that with a spin move in the paint. He only had 10 points on the day, though. Chuck Daly's guys, nice ball movement. Mark Aguirre to Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah draws the defense, and there is John Sally all by his lonesome to throw this thing down, 39-28. Detroit really never in trouble this day. Nice touch pass inside. Dennis Rodman sticks with it and sticks it back, 70-50. Hawks just couldn't do anything. 3-on-1. They blow the break, and they're eating that up on the Detroit bench. Well, they should. 113-81 the final score as Detroit moves on to the semis. They beat the Atlanta Hawks in Game 5 at the Palace. And when the Prudential halftime report continues, we will focus on the other Eastern Conference semifinal, Philly and Chicago. We'll hook up with Sixers head coach Jimmy Lynam after this. Western Forum, they are at the break. The Lakers and Warriors in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals as the Prudential halftime report continues. Tomorrow night here on TNT, we will bring you Game 2 of the Philadelphia-Chicago Eastern Conference semifinal series. In Game 1 Saturday, Michael Jordan scored 29. The Bulls built a big lead. They were never seriously threatened in a 105-92 win over Philadelphia. It was the Sixers' first playoff loss after a first-round sweep of Milwaukee. And joining us now via satellite from Chicago is Sixers head coach Jim Lynam. Jim, thanks for joining us. I know you go back to work today, about an hour and a half practice. Where do you start after yesterday's game?
Well, Arnie, we took a look at some of the tape. I think in a nutshell, we had to identify the fact Chicago came out very aggressive with their defense, and we didn't do a real good job responding to it.
Yeah, you take a look at the stat sheet. The first thing that jumped out at me, 37% shooting. How much of that is Chicago defense? How much of that is, hey, we're just not hitting?
Well, I think when you shoot a percentage that low, probably a little of both. I thought that with their aggressive style, we just were on our heels most of the game. It started really in the first quarter. They put us down 14 at the end of the quarter, and essentially it didn't improve the whole game.
Another thing that jumps out, 8 turnovers by Chicago. You guys forced 17 against the Bucks as you swept them in the first round. The defensive intensity on your part, was it there, or do you work to improve that also?
Well, it certainly wasn't good enough. In fact, of those 8, they played with but 3 turnovers through the first 3 quarters. And to be honest, essentially the game was over at that point in time. So we have to be more aggressive with our defense, make some things happen, get out on the fast break.
You know, Michael Jordan gets the lion's share of attention, as he should, for the Chicago Bulls. But really in the first quarter, it was Bill Cartwright who was so hot, and they get out to the big lead, and you're playing catch-up all day. Surprising that Cartwright got out of the gate like that?
Well, yes and no, Ernie. I think Chicago frequently will try to establish Cartwright early in the game, and if he gets off to a good start, they'll come back to him one or several times in the early going. He did a very good job. I think he had 6 field goals at the end of the first quarter, and that was no small factor in their start.
A lot of players will say what happened in the regular season has no bearing. This is playoff time. But in the regular season, you beat those guys 3 out of 4. Twice you beat them at Chicago Stadium. Is there a mental edge that you take into the series?
Well, I have my own theory about that. I think the edge may have shifted as a result of that. I think Chicago came out very determined to deliver a message, if you will, and I think they did so in rather dramatic fashion. Now it's up to us to respond to that.
How about Michael Jordan? I mean, I know you don't like to talk about him all day, but by golly, when you play that guy, do you have a theory that we're going to let him get his points, or do you try to pull out a page out of Chuck Daly's book with the Jordan rules? How do you approach that?
Well, I think you try to walk that fine line. I don't subscribe to the premise that you let him get his points. I mean, they did that one night up in the Boston Garden. He had 60, 3 or 4. I think you have to be careful not to overdo it, because if you just stack your entire defense with the idea of trying to contain Michael, then you start letting other people get off.
Jimmy, good luck to you and the Sixers the rest of the way and in Game 2 tomorrow night. Jimmy Lynam joining us from Chicago here on TNT, and Game 2 of that Philadelphia-Chicago series here on TNT tomorrow night, live from Chicago Stadium, and just ahead the third period from the Forum. Take a look at what you could call the high fives, the players whose teams are still alive in the playoffs, who rank in the top 5 stat-wise. And we'll begin on the boards. Dennis Rodman, he had 20 today in that Game 5 win over the Hawks, leading with 14.5 a game. Karl Malone second, then Charles Barkley, Vlade Divac, who had that strong series with the Rockets, and Buck Williams is 5th. We move to the assist category. No surprise there. John Stockton was the regular season leader. He leads barely over Magic Johnson. Isaiah Thomas, bad wrist and all, right in there, along with Tim Hardaway and the amazing Larry Bird. And in scoring, the high fives, Karl Malone, barely over Michael Jordan, who is the regular season king. Charles Barkley 3rd, Chris Mullin 4th, followed by Clyde Drexler. And as you know from watching the game here on TNT tonight, you know Chris Mullin not in the Golden State lineup yet. The Warriors still hanging with the LA Lakers. It is 60-51 at the break as we send it back to Ron Thulin and Rick Barry at the Great Western Forum. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Ernie. As you mentioned, they are up by 9 now, led by 10 at the end of the first quarter. And Rick, they just can't seem to shake the Golden State Warriors. Golden State's still getting their shots.
Yeah, they're really hanging in there. The Warriors have done a nice job considering Chris Mullin is not there. They're not shooting the ball as well as they might like to. Mitch Richmond's been having a tough game. But if we look at the shot chart for the Lakers, I think this is a determining factor. They are just really hammering it inside, doing a lot of one-on-one stuff. Nelly's still not going with the double teams on guys going 1-against-1, posting up. But you can still see that the Lakers at least have hit a reasonable amount of outside shots, something San Antonio did not do. Here's an example of the inside play. Higgins all alone on Worthy, the quick spin move. He goes in, lays it up. Again, they're not double teaming on the post-up situations. For Golden State, you expect to see that type of spread. A lot's coming from the outside. They need Richmond to get hot. They've been doing some good ball movement at times. Here's an example. Richmond, he's going one-on-one. He'll go in, penetrate, create problems for the Laker defense, kicks it out, quick movement to Higgins. He drops in the three-point shot. But what really has been a telling tale has been the turnovers. Not the fact that there's been so many for the Warriors, only 7. Here Perkins knocks it away, but how many points the Lakers have scored off those turnovers. Here Drew gets it to Magic, Magic back to Drew. He lays it in the basket. They came up with 10 points off of those 7 Laker turnovers. The Lakers only turned it over 4 times, Warriors with none.
And as we mentioned, the score 60-51. LA leading by 9 as you look at Chris Mullin, strained knee. The update on Mitch Richmond has a mild bruise in his hip. He will be returning in the ball game. Will be able to play the second half of this contest, and he will start the second half. Perkins is fine. He had a was limping on the court at one time. Magic Johnson, there was concern over him, and they still are concerned. He has a hamstring problem, Gary Vitti tells us. So we'll keep our eye on Magic Johnson, who also starts the second half from the Great Western Forum. Ron Thulin and Rick Barry. Game 1, Western Conference semifinals. Peterson will start again for Golden State. Rebound control by the Warriors.
Well, that time Richmond dropped in a couple times. Not an all-out double yet on the post-up moves.
Hardaway on top, Peterson. A lot of time on the shot clock. Hardaway, the leading scorer for both teams, 18 first half points. Higgins, 4 on the shot clock.
Ellie, nice movement again by the Warriors. That's what they want to do. If they don't get the quick transition, spread it out, work the ball around, try and get those type of opportunities.
Ellie now with 11 points. Worthy from outside was not very successful in that first half, 5 of 14, but he had a couple in a row that really got him going.
Yeah, we missed most of those shots early.
Lakers still by 7. Richmond, good traffic.
Should have shot that one.
May have had it. 5 on the shot clock. Hardaway, the pull-up. Boy, I tell you what, he is so quick. Hardaway now with 20 points in the ball game. The Laker lead is down to 5. Sensing the crowd talking to him in intermission, a lot of people feel that this game's over. I mean, the Lakers got it. That is why it's so quiet here right now. A real sense of security.
Well, again, they're not sending anybody to double. Nelly obviously feeling that strategy is working. The Warriors only put the Lakers on the line for 8 free throw attempts. The Lakers made all of them. The Warriors got 8 attempts, but they only made 4 out of 8, so that hurt. Here's Ellie just trying to play the position. See, what happened is he gave a little bit too much. He threw the chest out. If he just kept his position, the foul would not have been called.
Now Magic Johnson again. Backing down, the little baby hook, nothing but air.
See, and that's what Nelly's hoping, that the guys are all standing around. If these guys don't make the shots, we got a shot.
Ball tipped by the Lakers, and with 20 on the shot clock, Golden State will still have it. Now Nelson having only 1 player in double figures in that first half. That was Hardaway. The Lakers put Worthy with 10, Johnson with 15, who led all the Lakers. Scott with 10. Higgins also had 10 for Golden State. 2 players in double figures for the Warriors. Richmond on Worthy. Ellie backs out. Peterson was cutting down the lane. Ellie stops the high archer. 13 for Ellie. The crowd now beginning to get a little restless. Lakers yet to score here in the second half.
You can see they're all standing around. They're going to try to post that one-on-one. The Lakers all stand. Everybody stands and watches.
Divac had the shot, just couldn't get it to go down. Aggressively gets the rebound. Hardaway on Scott. Quick hands by Tim Hardaway, slaps it away, and he will lead the Golden State break.
Got Richmond.
Richmond can't find the handle. Divac's on the floor. Still a bug loose on the rug, and Golden State. Richmond for 3. Magic with the rebound. 7 rebounds now for Magic Johnson. Vlade just parking in the lane with the easy 2, and the basket counts, and he gets the foul.
Just a great pass again by Magic Johnson, and the Warriors really missed a golden opportunity that time. Here you see the end of the play as Magic takes it in. Look at the way he sees the floor. Vlade was underneath and just rifles the pass to him. Vlade able to get a chance for the 3-point play.
That was on Peterson. That's his first. Lakers by 5. Hardaway now slowing up the pace. Golden State going into their half-court offense. Warriors finished the regular season 44-38.
This is a terrible pass by Ellie.
Worthy.
Turnover, basket. I mean, the Lakers are just capitalizing on Warrior mistakes.
Hardaway off the glass, doesn't get it. Peterson tips it out. Richmond with the loose ball. Back to Hardaway.
So you don't teach people to shoot the ball that way, no rotation, but it works for Tim Hardaway.
Well, Tim Hardaway's dad was real terror on the Chicago playgrounds, and as we mentioned, he does have a little Chicago streets in him, and he's not afraid to take over a game offensively. He did it at UTEP, and he's doing it tonight. Perkins has it blocked by Peterson. And Charunas Marciulionis will come into the lineup for the Warriors, and Mario Ellie will take a seat.
We mentioned the turnover. See, Ellie just with a weak pass to Higgins, and Perkins just able to step up and get it because the pass had no oomph, as they say, on it. And there's Worthy, who's one of the great finishers in the game.
Golden State was 18th in the league in turnovers, averaging 16 a contest. We're number 1 in forced turnovers. They forced 18 a game. And Lister into the lineup, Peterson out. Perkins perfect from the line, 3 of 3. was only shooting 60% coming in tonight. We saw the numbers on Sam. Say it was a successful move for Sam Perkins, deciding to go with the LA Lakers instead of re-signing with the Dallas Mavericks. Defensively, probably more so than offensively. Inside, Divac throws Lister down, and the foul will be on Vlade Divac.
And a lot of people are concerned that him signing with the Lakers is because of their problem, because of all the money he signed for, getting so much more than some of the star players on the Lakers. Obviously, they got that worked out. Just a nice little spin move by Lister. Gave a little head fake and got Vlade to join the paratrooper club and pay the dues.
The numbers on Lister so far this evening.
Warriors hurting themselves at the free throw line. As you mentioned, first half, 4 for 8. Lakers outscored them by 4, getting the same number of attempts, making all 8 of those. Can't afford to give those free ones away.
Lister, who played only 3 games last year because of a torn Achilles tendon. Coming back in the playoffs now with 7 tonight. Inside to Worthy, great pass by Magic, and James can't complete the play. Hardaway for 3. Oh my goodness.
And right away, Warriors cut it right back to a 3-point deficit. It's kind of like a pesky fly, man. They just keep coming back and keep bothering you all the time. Got to squash that fly.
You have to have the killer instinct in the playoffs, no question about it, because all of a sudden you're down 2 games or you have to go back to their place. Inside of Vlade Divac, inside game going to work now for the Lakers.
Well, Mike's going to just keep doing it as long as it's working for them. But again, the Lakers very stagnant with that type of an offense.
Marciulionis and Sharunas Marciulionis with his first field goal and first points of the ball game.
They need him to get a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He and Richmond, and I see they're right in the game, and both he and Richmond aren't having big games. And Mullen's not playing. It's incredible that they're this close.
It's a team effort. Worthy shot goes, and he gets the foul.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You join a paratrooper club, you invariably have to pay dues because good players will make you have body contact and draw a foul, at least, and in this case, a chance for the 3-point play. Watch the move again. Worthy just goes into the middle, gives the ball fake, gets the man in the air, makes the contact, goes to the line.
And that is Higgins' second personal foul.
There's another guy here in attendance watching this ball game who used to make a good living doing just that. That's Chet Walker. He used to play for the Bulls.
Well, James Worthy, who for the first time in his career shot 50%, below 50% from the floor, is 100% from the line. He has 15 points, 5 coming here in the second half. The Lakers back up by 6. Hardaway played for Don Haskins at UTEP. Oh, just blows through the crowd. Good dish off. Lister finally gets it to go.
I tell you that he's something special. This young man. What a great move.
One of those guys that can play tennis with himself. We've got a foul and a timeout on the court. 6:15 remaining in the third quarter. The Lakers can't shake away from Golden State. They lead it by only 4. And here's a look at tonight's Nissan leaders. Our category: consecutive playoff appearances. The Lakers on top, followed by Boston, Milwaukee, and the Portland Trail Blazers.
I tell you, this is an example of like a quarterback reading a defensive football. Look at the move by Hardaway. Threw his legs once to lose the first man. The screen comes, Worthy comes, through his legs again, drives in, gives it to Lister. Let's watch it, an opportunity to watch it up close. There was the first move through his legs. Now through the legs again, the opening's there. He splits the defense, goes up, draws a defender to him, kicks it off for the easy 2. I mean, that is great basketball.
Golden State got back into this game in this quarter, no question, 7 of 9 from the floor, but Tim Hardaway is the man. Look at that, 11 of 17 for 25 points.
Well, they're saying run TM to see Chris Mullen missing from that, but right now it's run T because the M is kind of missing. He's only got 6 points. He averaged 20-some-odd points during the regular season and averaging up around there in the playoffs. They need Mitch Richmond to come alive, and also Marciulionis, who is averaging 17, almost 18 a game in the playoffs. He's been rather silent, but yet, despite that, they trail by only 4 points. Mario Elie came up with a nice game for them offensively to try and pick up a little bit of the slack.
Well, the Lakers now will go with Byron Scott at one guard, Magic Johnson at the other, Divac at center with Worthy and Perkins.
And here hammering it down inside is maybe going to pay dividends for the Lakers. They only got 8 free throws in the first half. You have 6:15 to go here in the third. The Warriors already in the penalty situation. The Lakers with only 1 team foul. So I would assume that Mike Dunleavy will continue to hammer it down inside, go to the basket, try to get to the free throw line and get those in-close opportunities.
Mike Dunleavy, the former coach of the Carolina Lightning of the All-American Basketball Alliance. Coached 8 games in the league, folded. Back in '77. That's a league you didn't play in, did you?
I tried them all.
Just checking. 6:10 left in the third. Lakers by 6. Ball kick. Goes to Golden State. They'll reset the shot clock.
I don't think this crowd knows what to think of this game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just kind of, they think that the Lakers should win it big time, and yet they're kind of hanging around, and they're just kind of waiting for the Lakers to explode, but it's only had 2 little spurts in the first half.
A lot of Divac, Lister, and Worthy, all 3 of them going at it underneath, and the foul will be on Lister. That'll be his second personal foul.
Well, he set a moving screen down at the baseline, right in front of the official.
Try to stay out of their line of sight if possible.
Yeah, well, or don't move
or don't
if you're doing it in front of the official, because they all move at one time or another.
Now Richmond on James Worthy, who fires, doesn't get it. Divac with the rebound, loses the handle. Marciulionis.
Hardaway actually knocked that away from him with quick hands.
Marciulionis not thinking offense right now. Tried to get it inside. Magic Johnson was there to take it away.
And when he thought, he should have thrown it.
Scott.
See, this is a game of just split seconds, Ron. He thought about throwing it, didn't throw it. By the time he did throw it, the defense got in there.
Scott's first 2 in the second half. Lakers back up by 5.
Boy, they need that right there. They need that young man to come alive. And he's capable of doing it.
That's his first 2 of the second half. First 2 since the first quarter.
Nelly not happy with that because they're supposed to be up on Byron Scott. You don't give Byron Scott room to shoot a jump shot.
He has 3 3-pointers. And now Mitch Richmond beginning to feel the hot hand as he connects his second in a row. The Laker lead is 7. 4:44 left in the third. Really backing in on Higgins. Good defensive job by Higgins with 9 on the shot clock. Richmond faked the double team there, Rick.
Yeah, well, he actually went down one time. He looked over at Nelly, says, "Is that okay for me to do it?" Nelly said, "Okay, that's okay what you did." But it's not an all-out go down and just double. That's not what they're doing. You can see right here. They're just kind of watching, letting these guys go.
Magic has it slapped away by Higgins. Second shot won't go down. Here comes Hardaway. Lister streaking down the left-hand side.
Watch out.
Fans want him to travel. Marciulionis.
And that's what they like. Get it down quickly, early offense, get that type of an opportunity. That's the way the Warriors were successful against San Antonio.
5-point LA advantage. Richmond now switches over to Magic. Giving away a couple of inches. Magic sets him up. Instead of the left hand, he scoops it with the right.
Well, as my boys would say, that was sweet.
17 points for Johnson, and that was almost even sweeter. To Scott. He had Vlade, pops it. (17) for Byron Scott. And Don Nelson says, we need to talk about this, gentlemen, as Byron Scott is beginning to heat up. Frustrating Don Nelson. 3:30 left to be played in the third. The Lakers lead at 82-73. We'll be back. Philadelphia 76ers and the Chicago Bulls, with the Bulls leading that series 1-0. A very convincing first win. Bob Neal and Doug Collins will be at Chicago Stadium to call all the action. Then Tuesday, how about Detroit? Boston Game 1 from the Garden. 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Hubie Brown and I will be there, followed by the Utah Jazz and the Portland Trail Blazers. Mel Proctor and Jack Gibbons calling the action.
Well, Byron Scott starting to heat up. You see Hardaway just too far away. Needs to be up challenging him. Don Nelson upset at Tim Hardaway for not being up in Byron Scott's face on that play. You make Byron Scott beat you by having to put the ball on the floor and go to the basket, not giving him open jumpers.
The Lakers sticking with their starting 5. Golden State has made 10 of 13 field goals in this quarter. They that 10 of 14 now, better than 70%, but they're still not making up any ground as Perkins will be fouled on the play by Higgins.
Yeah, and one of the reasons they're not making it up, Ron, is that the Lakers have been getting to the free throw line here. They've already been there 6 times in this quarter. There'll be 8 opportunities coming up here. Matches what they did in the entire first half. They've only missed 1 free throw in the contest so far.
I'll tell you, the Los Angeles Lakers have come a long way since the worst opening month in 12 seasons. They began the season 1-4 under new head coach Mike Dunleavy. Went through some growing pains with the new offense, Rick.
Yeah, well, it takes a while. You know, you got new people added to the equation, a new system that Mike was trying to incorporate. In fact, in some of those ball games they lost, they could have easily won 3 of those 4 ball games. They were close games. They lost an overtime one to Portland early in the season, happened to see. And so it really wasn't a panic situation. But credit Jerry Buss and Jerry West. They went into Mike and they gave him a vote of confidence, said, don't worry about it. Mike has instilled now a defensive philosophy and an offense that I think is going to prolong the career of Magic Johnson.
Sam Perkins has now made 8 of 8 from the free throw line, and that's more than Golden State, the entire Golden State team, who made only 5. Mitch Richmond for 2.
They say he can heat up quickly.
Richmond now with 12, 6 here in the quarter. 6 in the first quarter, 6 here in the third. The lead is 9 inside of 3 minutes. Good job of Richmond cutting off Magic Johnson. That is the way you have to do it. Worthy.
Magic got fouled on that play.
17 for James Worthy as Terry Teagle set to check into the Laker lineup. Marshall Lotus off the iron. Vlade Divac with the board. Byron Scott. Already with 3 3-pointers. Down low to Magic. He went with the right hand before. This time he goes with the left. Doesn't get it, but we have a foul. Teagle comes in.
Mitch shouldn't be too upset because he got away with the foul in the previous play. Kind of evens things out. But right now, Ron, I just, you know, I don't like the way things are going for the Warriors. Again, they're falling back again. Have to try to fight to keep coming back from behind. It's very difficult to do that against a great team. The Lakers are a great basketball team, and doing it out on the road and doing it without one of your star players. I think that they deserve a lot of credit for having stayed as close as they have, but it doesn't look good right now for them.
Well, Teagle came in and replaced Vlade Divac. Higgins sits down, and Mario Ellie checks into the lineup. And there we see the field goal percentage decidedly going to the Lakers. Free throws. 2:22 left. It is a 12-point advantage for the Lakers. Magic now 6 of 7 from the line.
He's has some offensive skills.
Just tied his season and playoff high with 15. Worthy really battling now with Ellie down low. And Ellie's still using that bump. He's already been called for it once. Worthy goes inside. They're going to call an offensive foul.
All he did was hold his position that time. He just continually held the position, moved as Worthy moved, and Worthy initiated the contact. We'll see it again. There he is. He's getting a little. There's a little bump. He got away with that one. Then he holds his position. Now he'll just move his feet, and then the foul is going to be called as Worthy made the move.
Well, in the meantime, Richmond misses a 3-pointer, but on the return, we have a foul called by the Lakers. And that'll be on Terry Teagle, his 2nd personal foul. 4th team foul. Warriors already with 5 team fouls, and at the line, it'll be Mario Ellie. We've heard about this young man playing in Portugal, Ireland. He speaks 4 different languages. I guess if you play in that many countries, you have to. Speaks fluent Spanish, Portuguese, French, and of course English. You travel that much, you better learn the language. You're never going to eat. Lakers by 8. Inside of Worthy. What a pass by Magic Johnson again. 19 now for Worthy. Marshall Lotus. Hardaway, baseline. Uncontested. Scott just let him go.
Yeah, well, but also Perkins got caught coming out on him. Didn't do a good job closing out. You got the defender coming at you. You go right by him.
27 for Hardaway as Terry Teagle hits. He now has 6 as McKeskey has checked into the lineup. His first playoff action. Oh, Tim Hardaway. My goodness, and Byron Scott for 2 doesn't get it. Rebound underneath, and there will be a foul on
McKeskey, I believe.
I think it's going to be McKeskey. Let's see Hardaway.
Let's watch the O that Ron Thulin gave out on this one here, folks. Here he comes in. Oh, look at up, bring it down, up, switch it up there. Right hand, great body control. He's really an outstanding player. There's the through the leg dribble, splits the defense, great body control, soft touch. You're really looking at one of the great young players in the NBA, Tim Hardaway.
He is so quick. 92-83, a 9-point Laker lead, 1:02 left in the third. Lakers continue their assault on the free throw line, and they've upped the lead back to 10 with inside of a minute. They are now 17 of 19 from the line.
Well, Mike Nunley had a game plan. Hammer it down inside, take advantage of mismatches. It's working very well. They're interspersing it with some good outside perimeter shooting from Scott and a few other people.
McKeskey looked for Marciulionis. Marciulionis didn't look for McKeskey. Another turnover, number 11 for the Warriors.
Of course, executing that game plan with one of the stars of the other team out becomes a little bit easier.
Bottom line in the playoffs is execution. Magic to the paint over McKeskey. Counted, no foul.
Yeah, Paul set himself up in what the NBA calls basically no man's land. They don't call fouls down there.
Richmond can't get it to go. Magic Johnson now with the loose ball, and he is forced out of bounds by McKeskey.
And that'll be a foul.
And that'll be his second personal foul.
You know, the thing is, I always wonder why they don't call those fouls. I mean, if a man's set defensively and a guy comes down there and charges into him, even if you're down under the basket, I mean, I think it should still be a foul. I don't know why they have to change the rule of what the game was all about. You see Richmond unable to get it to drop. Knocked out of bounds. Here comes Big Mo. Gives him a little shove.
Magic already with a triple-double, folks, and we're yet to play the fourth and final quarter. 6 of 8 from the line. He has 20 points to go along with 10 rebounds and 14 assists as McKeskey sits down. Tom Tolbert, who hasn't seen much action, and he did so much against San Antonio. Also, Ellie checks out of the lineup.
Well, he was having his lunch eaten by James Worthy early in the contest, and then Nelly realized that he couldn't put him in the ball game if he had to go up against James Worthy. Well, Worthy's on the bench right now.
That's because Eldon Campbell has checked into the lineup, number 41. Magic gets the second. Magic now 7 of 9 from the line, has 21.
You know, you don't feed raw meat to the lions.
Tom Tolbert's haircut looks like low tide here in Los Angeles. Inside of 10 seconds, Campbell. Tolbert better do something with it. Fakes one way, scoops with the left hand, can't get it to go down. Campbell, as time runs out, and that'll be it for 3 quarters at the Forum in Los Angeles. With 12 minutes left to be played, the Lakers now have opened up a 13-point advantage, but we still have a lot of basketball left to be played. Inside the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California, along with Rick Barry, I'm Ron Thulin. The Lakers have opened up a 13-point advantage, 96-83.
Yo, I love that shot right there. That was the sun was setting. I think that's what's happening to the Warriors. I think it's kind of setting on them here in this ball game. Here's Magic Johnson as he's able to get by Mario Ellie. And I tell you, that should have been a block because McKeskey came over after Magic was committed, but they called no foul in that situation. Again, I still think they should make the call one way or the other. That should have been a block.
Magic Johnson, as we mentioned already, the triple-double, 10 rebounds, 14 assists to go with his 21 points. Tim Hardaway still in the lineup for Golden State. He has played the entire game, all 36 minutes.
Well, I tell you, if they took him out of the ball game, it wouldn't even be this close. I mean, because he's been the story for the Warriors. Without Hardaway in this ball game, this would have been a total blowout.
He has 29 points in the ball game. Tries to add to that back of the iron. If you just tuned in, Chris Mullin not playing. Strained knee. He will be back in action in game 2 between these two ball clubs.
Yeah, I think it's really just a matter of how much the Lakers are going to win by. I don't think the Warriors really have a chance to come back on that. They have to play some better defense, and that's pretty tough to do with the mismatches that the Lakers have.
Mitch Richmond only with 12 points, 6 in the first quarter, 6 in the third. The left-handed shot over Tolbert won't go down. Marciulionis the rebound. Here's Richmond over Teagle.
Well, he really warmed up since he had that cold second quarter and come on strong here late in the second half. But they're going to need that kind of shooting. They're going to need great shooting by the Warriors. 70% or better, play some better defense if they have any hope at all of getting back into it.
Well, they haven't been able to shake them. The Lakers haven't. Teagle over Marciulionis won't go down. Tolbert with the rebound. A couple of stops, Rick, and you may get back in this ball game.
Well, if the Lakers keep missing their shots like that, yeah, that can happen. But again, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the Lakers' ineffectiveness offensively and just great offense on the part of the Lakers, coupled with some good defensive efforts by the Warriors to help the Lakers be ineffective offensively.
Foul was on Sam Perkins. That is his third personal foul. First team foul here in the fourth and final quarter. Boston winning today already. Detroit winning. Brooklyn's shot won't go down. Ball belongs to the Lakers. Marshall didn't like the call. 96-85 is our score. 10:40 left to be played in the ball game. Now the crowd, maybe they woke up. They ran out of Evian or Perrier or whatever they drink out here.
Well, this is California. People are laid back.
Magic Johnson to Scott.
That's two. Again, you can't afford to let Byron Scott get open like that. And that's, again, a breakdown later with the defense of the Warriors.
19 for Scott. 3 3-pointers. Hardaway again just turns on the afterburners.
But every time I see him play, I'm more impressed.
Byron Scott for 3 again. His fourth of the evening. Barcelona stops, tries to get the left-handed shot. Campbell to Magic. Oh, gets away. What a pass. Hello. Count it. Boy, if that doesn't get you excited, nothing will.
I don't know how much longer Don Nelson's going to leave Hardaway in this ball game. He's played every minute, as you pointed out, Ron. This game's getting away from them. We'll see Magic with the behind-the-back move. He'll give the little flip pass to Campbell, who goes up against Tolbert Strong, gets a good roll. That brought the crowd to life. In fact, Mike Dunleavy likes what he sees. He's going to give Magic some rest by bringing Drew into the ball game. Scott also gets a rest.
What a job for Magic Johnson. 16 assists in the ball game. He was averaging 12.7 for the playoffs, 12.5 for the year.
Well, John McEnroe, who's got a lot of Laker games, seems to be enjoying himself as well.
Eldon Campbell with his first playoff points. And the Laker lead handily by 17. Barcelonas, the left-handed, won't go down. Eldon Campbell with the rebound. And I'm sure Don Nelson will still tell his troops, if this continues to go the way it is, hey, we played without Mullen. It's still a 7-game series. Best of 7.
Interesting to see in game 2 what he does with his defensive philosophy. Now they're starting to do a little bit of going to double, but not all out.
No basket?
No, the basket they're saying
good.
is good. There was a foul after the basket was scored.
So Perkins connects on the hoop, but he's whistled for the foul.
There we see the move again. Goes in. Makes the shot, and then I'm trying to see who they call the foul on Campbell. They're coming inside, pushing after the shot was off.
Nevertheless, the Lakers lead 106-87 nearing the 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Higgins told to the hole, the right side, doesn't get it. That's Teagle's third personal foul. Sends Higgins to the line for a pair of shots.
So Don probably is not worried about Hardaway as far as running out of steam. They can have plenty of time off before they play the next ball game. He's still a youngster. You have a lot of energy when you're that age. But I would think he'd be concerned that something might happen to him. He cannot afford to have him get banged up by keeping him in this ball game, because he's just about out of reach right now.
106-89 inside of 9 minutes. Ball movement by the Lakers. Higgins wanted some help with Worthy. Drew for 3. So the Lakers, who were hitting 34% from three-point land for the playoffs, very hot tonight as Tolbert answers with a 2. His first 2 of the ball game.
So the Warriors had nothing to lose here coming in. Of course, everybody expects them to lose to begin with. In this ball game with Chris Mullin being out, I mean, anything they do that was reasonably respectable would be looked upon as a terrific effort on their part.
On top, Drew again for 3. This time he pulls it a little bit short. Rebound control by Golden State. Long pass down court. Hardaway for 3.
Campbell blocked it.
Got a piece of it. Lakers 5 of 13 from three-point land, but the big man's been Byron Scott. He has 4 of the 5. Drew. Forgot Hardaway. Boy, Tolbert Perkins again going at it. Tolbert has the bigger of the 2 bodies, and he'll be whistled for the foul. His 4th.
Look at him pushing. Give another little shove. He's probably saying, why? I mean, how many times do I have to do this?
Now the officials are discussing the situation. Larry Drew looking in. Lee Jones makes the final call, talking to Mike Mathis and Steve Jaffe. Vlade Divac comes back into the lineup for the Lakers. Perkins will take a seat. Sam Perkins sits down, also coming into the lineup for Golden State. Higgins will sit down. Mario Elie will come back in.
I think they're checking this. I don't know if they're talking about his three-point shot or what they're talking about. Trying to see if the score is right. I don't know if they gave the three-point shot that you called for Drew a three-pointer or not.
108-91. Now Don Nelson up off the bench. Mike Dunleavy also up off the bench. The scoreboard over the Great Western Forum as Tolbert goes out for Golden State. And Vince Askew comes back in. So Don Nelson going with the small team again.
Mike Dunleavy,
yeah, they're not going to give him that extra point. They only gave him 2. He said, what are you talking? You took a point away from me. Worthy backs in on Askew. School's out. 21 for Worthy. Probably his most complete game of the playoffs as far as scoring goes. He had 29 in one game, but 14 were in the 4th. Three-pointer won't go down. The Lakers will have it, leading by 19, 7-22. Magic Johnson already the triple-double up on the bench. And we've got a timeout. Less than 7.5 remaining to be played in the ballgame. The Lakers on their way to a 1-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. Scores from this afternoon. Boston wrapped up that best-of-5 over Indiana, 124-121. What a job by Larry Bird. Also today, Detroit clobbered Atlanta, 113-81. The Hawks just 30% from the field. And that leads us to the Eastern Conference standings as far as the playoffs. The Bulls won the series. 76ers swept. Pistons and Celtics both have to go to 5. And that leads us to tomorrow night. Philadelphia and Chicago all set to play Game 2 of their best-of-7 series. That'll be tomorrow night right here on TNT with Bob Neal and Doug Collins beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Field goal percentage, Golden State cold in the 4th, Lakers hot.
Yeah, basically it's been a methodical execution of the Warriors here. The Lakers just come out with a game plan, have stuck to it. Mike Dunleavy did make one adjustment by coming in with a smaller lineup when a lead was cut back to 3. That worked and got the lead back again. And it's really basically been the Lakers ever since. A little mini run at the start of the 3rd quarter on the part of the Warriors. He shot really well, but didn't play good enough defense to get back in the ballgame in the 3rd quarter.
Well, now Golden State going again with the small lineup. No center again in there. With Marciulionis, Hardaway, almost 4 guards again in there. Drew inside, Worthy on the run. Worthy with 23. Golden State down the other side. Marciulionis, but Elie completes it and does a pull-up and bends the rim. Push that back up. 19 for Elie. Continues to add to a new season and playoff high.
I tell you what, he's certainly making a mark here. He can keep himself in the league for a while, I think, the way he's played.
Divac pushes Marciulionis, and Vlade Divac will be whistled for the personal. That'll be his 3rd. Vlade with 13 points. Freshly trimmed beard. Richmond. Kelly. Hardaway still yet to sit down. Doesn't get it. Campbell swats it out to James Worthy. And the Lakers are doing this with Magic Johnson again getting rest.
Well, they're worried about that hamstring. He's got some ice on it, or I guess I would imagine it would be icy. And I would think we'll not see Magic again.
I would be surprised. Worthy steps back, doesn't get it. Divac goes hard to the floor, but the ball belongs to Golden State.
Well, they're getting Richmond out of the ball game.
Tyrone Hill comes in. Richmond sits down. Magic icing that right ham. AC Green to his left. Nearing the 6-minute mark. Askew can't get it to go. Campbell able to keep the ball alive. Unfortunately, Golden State hasn't. He's a lively player underneath. Askew to the hole. Askew now with 4. That is his playoff high. Drew inside baseline, has it swatted away by Tyrone Hill. Hardaway to Ellie to Marshallonis. Nice little reverse. He has 6. And it is a 17-point lead.
No,
12-point lead. I'm hanging around you guys. 15-point lead. I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll sit next to you in this app. Worthy. It'll be 17 in a minute. Worthy with 2. 25 now for James Worthy.
Well, Worthy's just really had a field day. He started off the game cold, but he has just been a force ever since. And I tell you, he traveled on that move because if you noticed, he picked up his pivot foot and moved it before he ever dribbled the basketball.
The foul was on Hill. It's his first personal.
Ron, you can get to the basket if they let you make that.
Really? Maybe. Campbell will sit down as Sam Perkins checks back into the lineup. Byron Scott also in the lineup for the Lakers. Scott with those 4 3-pointers. James Worthy, 25 and 3. Way short.
Well, he was falling back before he ever finished releasing that shot.
Well, the Lakers have won the last 6 straight regular season games from Golden State. 2-0 this year. Askew can't get it to go. Hill with the board. That is what he did so well in college last year, and he gets the foul.
He's starting to gain a little confidence. I think that this playoff is really going to serve him well come next season.
6th all-time leading rebounder in Division I history. Down low for Worthy. Askew on him. He may teach this young man a lesson. And we've got an illegal defense.
I think Askew is doing a smart thing. You see, if you body up on Worthy, with his quickness and that drop step of his, he'll just spin right on by you and get you on his hip. But Askew's giving him a little touch, backing off, trying to use the fact that he is fairly quick to at least prevent that spin move and make him take the turnaround jump shot, which is not going to get you in as much trouble.
Byron Scott's first trip to the free throw line because of the technical second illegal defense called on Golden State. He doesn't get it. Still the Lakers, 19 of 24 from the line.
You know, the one good thing about what's happening here is that we won't have a traffic jam leaving the Forum.
You got it, because they are beginning to pile out on the Great Western Forum now, despite the fact that the team only leads by 15. Worthy. Askew didn't go for the fade. Shot clock at 10. Still time left.
That's excellent defense.
Oh, yes.
See how he backs off now? Very smart play. Very good.
Hand checking. Worthy, the big left hand, and he traveled with it. James goes, what are you talking about? 15-point lead, and I have a feeling, as Don Nelson does with all his teams, he convinces them that they can win any ball game. He may still have them convinced.
Ron, I'm not a betting person.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's the 4th on Perkins. I didn't say we believed it. He can't convince us, but he convinces his team, and I guess that's what counts in the long run.
Well, you have to believe that you can go ahead and make an effort, and you've got to play hard and keep going at it. But not tonight.
Askew at the line. He has 4. 5 now. He's now 1 of 3 from the stripe.
The only way they can get back and win this ball game is if the Lakers play the dumbest basketball that we've seen for 4 minutes and 13 seconds.
Askew gets them both. He has 6. The Laker lead is down to 13. Worthy dribbles by Ellie, has Perkins on the left wing to Scott. They almost gave Scott that 3 again.
Well, Scott was smart. Use the clock. The clock is their ally right now. They don't have to be in any rush.
Inside of 4 minutes. Scott for 3 again. That is his 5th. 25 for Byron Scott.
The Warriors cannot beat the Lakers even with Chris Mullin if Scott shoots this way in the series.
Ellie takes it strong to the hole. He is having an impressive night. 21 points for Mario Ellie. Like Dunleavy told us before the Houston series, he said, listen, the key, I think, is Byron Scott and also our shot selection. If he starts hitting from the outside, that opens up everything else for the Lakers. Sam Perkins just spins away from Hill.
I'm surprised Hardaway. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. He's going out. Yeah.
Hardaway finally will go out.
I was surprised Nelly really waited this long. I guess he thought that maybe they might make one last run, and he had to have Hardaway in to have a chance to do that.
44.5 minutes for Tim Hardaway, but what a night this young man had. 31 points. To go along with 9 assists. Sam Perkins, 18.6 rebounds. That is a new playoff high for him for 1991.
You know, everybody's talking about, you know, the Rockets and how tough they were coming down the stretch. And they did play well, except they faded towards the end. But can you imagine how good the Rockets would be with Tim Hardaway as point guard? I mean, you know, I know
he was the 4th point guard picked in the draft, too, right?
You know, Kenny did a good job for him and all. But, I mean, Kenny could then move over and play a little bit of 2 guard for him. Maybe the way he shoots it and handling the ball. I mean, boy, they would be awesome.
Inside Perkins with the left hand, won't go down, battling for the rebound, and he comes up with it. A little alley-oop to Teagle, and it was pretty ugly. 16-point Laker lead.
You know, I was most impressed by Hardaway, as you see Lister get the little basket inside. Nice pass from Marshall. His composure, his poise. For a guy who's only in his 2nd year in the league, this guy, it's like he's been around forever.
He's got savvy that a lot of veterans don't have.
Yeah, a lot of veterans never get.
Never will have. Drew just dribbling around, wasting some time inside of 2.5 minutes. Shot clock at 7. Shot clock at 5. Well, we better do something. Shot clock at 2. Loses the handle. Here comes Marshallonis. He has Askew on the left. Takes it inside. He's got it. Askew with 8. The lead is 12 with 2:14 left to be played. AC Green was going to check in for Los Angeles. He goes back to the Laker bench. Scott already with 5 threes. Less than 2 minutes, and the crowd cheers that, which is something they finally cheered tonight. Ball belongs to the Lakers with just 2 on the shot clock, and we've got a timeout. Golden State says they want to talk about the final 152. 119-107 is our score, and we'll be back. And here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. Points in the paint and rebounds, Rick.
Yeah, well, again, if you go inside, you normally win. Of course, San Antonio dominated in that area, and they weren't able to do it because they didn't get any outside help. But, boy, I tell you, outside, Byron Scott was a force for the Lakers, and they just got a diversified offensive attack. They also leading in the rebound department, not by as big a margin as you might think with their size advantage. But the Lakers had their game plan, and they stuck to it. You know, Jack with a little bit of the old mustache there. I guess want to get a little different look.
I think his basic look is different.
He's just different, period.
Yeah, I was good.
You know, I told him when I saw The Shining, he said, Jack, you know, the thing about me about the movies, what is that? And I said, you were too convincing.
That's good. 119-107 is our score. 152 left to be played. Vlade Divac was into the lineup. Then Mike Dunleavy quickly took him out. Shot on the way, and they beat the shot clock as Terry Teagle drains it from outside. Teagle with 10. All sorts of Lakers hitting their playoff highs. Colbert, the scoop shot won't go down. That foul was on Campbell. That is his 3rd personal foul.
Obviously, the layoff did not really hurt the Lakers. It worked well for them. And Nelly may have to come up with a new strategy. Not going down to double or do anything. Certainly didn't seem to work. The Lakers able to get a lot of easy opportunities. Be interesting to see what he comes up with, especially if Chris Mullin is back in the lineup.
Game 2 will be Wednesday right here at the Great Western Forum. Culver gets them both. He's 2 of 4 from the line. He has 4 points this evening, and the lead is back to 12. A little pressure put on. Hardaway back in the lineup. AC Green for the Lakers. He just tosses it up to Campbell. Teagle finds a little daylight and takes advantage of it.
Well, that really surprised me to see Hardaway come back in.
I guess he thought it's a 12-point game.
Yeah, I figured maybe something can happen strange.
The only thing that happens is Tim Hardaway continuing to score.
Well, they figure Hardaway, they're going to come out and press, try to come up with some steals, and they need the quickness and the smarts of Hardaway and his offense.
33 points for Hardaway. We have a whistle and a foul with 1:15 showing on the clock. Tolbert with 5, but that is academic at this point. Terry Teagle at the line, of course, tossed out of the game of one of the games in Houston-Los Angeles series, had to sit out a 1-game suspension.
Yeah, Nelly, I guess when that score got down, he brought Richmond and Hardaway back in the ball game, figuring he'd give him one last shot. And now he realizes that that's not going to happen, so he's basically thrown the towel in.
Both Richmond and Hardaway will take a seat on the bench. Hardaway taps Richmond on the head. They know there will be another day. Teagle gets the second.
Hey, they've already accomplished a tremendous feat by what they did to San Antonio.
Outside, Marshallonis, he finally decides to start shooting the basketball. He does have 8 all coming here in the second half, but I'll tell you, when you know Chris Mullin's sitting down, you have to think, hey, somebody's got to pick up the scoring here, and you would think it would be him.
Yeah, and Mario Elie was the guy who did it.
Chris Mullin will be available for Game 2 Wednesday. Boy, they missed his 25-point average.
But what they're missing more than anything else is better defense. The Lakers shot over 50% in the first half. Lakers are going down inside. They got to come up with something to try and make it a little tougher for the Lakers to score points.
Magic with the hamstring has sat out a lot since this game became in favor of the Lakers early on. Scott shot won't go down. Three-pointer on the way, and Tolbert hits the three-pointer. So Tolbert now with 7, a new playoff high. 8-point Laker lead, 17 seconds left to be played. Just a reminder, we've got a game coming up, of course, tomorrow night. It'll be Chicago and Philadelphia from Chicago Stadium. Bob Neal and Doug Collins will be there for all the action, and I'll tell you what, that series was, you know, you wonder what happened there. Charles Barkley comes up with the big points, but they get blown out.
Yeah, his teammates forgot to sign up for that game or something. I don't know. He certainly didn't get any help.
Yeah.
That game was over in the first 5 minutes.
And this will give Los Angeles a 1-game-to-none lead in their best-of-7 series. Time runs out. Impressive win for the Lakers. They had a couple of big leads, led by as many as 21 in the ball game. Never trailed, and Golden State playing without Chris Mullin. Just not enough. The Lakers win at the final, 126-116. Lakers put 6 players in double figures, and they win at 126-116. And our Budweiser player of the game is Byron Scott, 27 points, 5 of 5 from three-point land. And Byron Scott is our Budweiser player of the game. And speaking of Byron Scott, Rick Barry is outside the Laker locker room with Byron Scott. Rick?
Thank you very much, Ron. Byron, it didn't look like the layoff hurt the Lakers, or you in particular had a great game going. What was the game plan going in?
Well, basically, you know, everybody had been worried about their offense, you know, how potent their offense is, and you know, we just wanted to come out and try to defend them as best we could, you know, play defense and just talk a lot and try to communicate. And on the offensive end, we say, hey, if you know they're so aggressive that we can get the ball out and run, then we're going to be in good shape also. So that was basically our game plan.
What about you personally? Were you surprised with the ease that you got open to get the shots that you got?
In a sense, I was, Rick. You know, Tim is a great offensive player, but I think on the defensive end, you can take advantage of him in certain instances. And tonight was one of those nights where I just basically made sure I was going to, you know, run up and down the court, because I knew for one, you know, to 48 minutes tonight, and you know, I felt on the other end, you know, I would have to get down quick and just do a lot of movement to get myself open.
Well, good luck, and of course, you'll have a tougher game with Chris Mullin back in the lineup.
No doubt about it. Thank you.
Back to you, Ron.
All right, Rick, 126-116 is the final, and be sure to stay with TNT as NBA playoff action continues. The 76ers and the Bulls. That'll be tomorrow night. Coming up next on TNT, the movie Lolly Madonna with Jeff Bridges and Randy Quaid. Once again, our final, Lakers win at 126-116. For Rick Barry and our entire crew in Los Angeles, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.